Hello everyone, this is Shelly from Texas A&M University Corpus Christi, and today we will be talking about the China Land Administration System, and it's also my final presentation for the Cadastral Information System Design for this class. And today, my presentation has four parts. The first part is Chinese basic situation introduction. The second part is cadastral system introduction and assessment. The third one is about some typical questions, and the last one is a suggestion and conclusion. Okay, first we will be talking about some basic information about China. The People's Republic of China, located in East Asia, is the third largest country in the world in terms of area and the largest in terms of population. China has 1.3 billion population and land area over 9.6 million square kilometers, and the capital city is Beijing. And China has 23 provinces, 5 autonomous regions, 4 municipalities direct under the central government, and 2 special administration regions, the Hong Kong and Macau. So China is a very big country, has a very complex condition compared to other country. Okay, let's review the historic outline of China's cadastral system. The modern cadastre began in 1913 in China, so the four taxes and ownership. And the first land administration law of China was issued in 1986. And until 1919, a major cadastral survey and land registration activity was conducted in most regions of China, and its main objective was to obtain and record the best data and attributes of every parcel, including land area, land classification, boundary, ownership, and area of buildings, and so on. Okay, let's talk about the Institute of Framework. In China, the Ministry of Land and Resources is the state administrative agency for land and mineral resources administration. There are 4 sub-departments in it, including the registration, tenure and use, surveying and mapping, and monitoring and statistic. In China, qualification for conduct surveying are authorized by Administrative Office of Surveying and Mapping. The education system for land management and cadastral surveying in China is multi-level, including higher education, secondary education, adult education, include mapping, land surveying courses for training techniques for cadastral. Both universities and secondary technique schools may offer short-term training and correspondence training courses. So in the modern world, in the recent China, we have many schools can provide various courses for these people who are interested in cadastral. Yeah. However, the China is a socialist country, so it has some special conditions. In 1986, the States Bureau of Land Administration states that the establishment of cadastral in China, the multi-purpose cadastral and land information system, has gradually been established and put into use. As I mentioned, China is a socialist country, and according to the Land Administration Law of China, it has stated that China implements the socialist public ownership of land. In other words, only the state or the royal collection has the land ownership, and any individual or organization only has the right to use land. According to these statements, the land in China can be divided into two categories: the state-owned and the collection-owned. Usually, the state-owned in city and the collection-owned in the countryside. The household registration system will treat rural and urban residents differently, and the land tenure system maintains vastly different land rights. Actually, all of these are caused by a special Chinese resident policy. We call and the Chinese people call it hukou system. The hukou system divided the population in China into two parts. The first part is agricultural hukou, and the second part, people holds the non-agricultural hukou. Only the agricultural hukou holder, who those we call rural residents, has the right to use the collection land to do the agricultural production or build house, and they use it for free. However, for those agricultural hukou holder, what we call urban residents, has no right to use the collection land unless they purchase the collection land use rights and sign the collection land use rights transfer contract with the collection through legal uh, legal steps. And the core and the basis of a land administration system is cadastral. It is normally a parcel-based and up-to-date land information system containing records of base information like the location, area, use, and the interests in land, like the rights, restrictions, and responsibilities. And please look at this picture. It includes 11 different contents for the land registration content. Actually, the modern cadastral system includes many jobs such as land investigation, land use and condition, land classification, and land registration, statistics, management of cadastral files, establishment and management of cadastral information system, and more. And more new techniques are widely used in the whole job. Until now, 97% collection-owned land ownership has been registered, and the collection-owned land construction planning permit is 18.5. The rural homestead land use right certification is 18.2, and for the state-owned land, the registration rate is 100. However, with the increasing of the country productivity and the rapid development of land of China, land as one of the most important resources are playing a more and more important roles in the development of country. Although China has formed a very organized and effective land administration according its condition, especially its economic condition and social nature. Some land conflicts and issues are still emerging, and let's talk about it. First, for the state-owned land. For the state-owned land, There are three serious questions. The first one is the selling land phenomena, and the second one is great loss of state-owned land revenue, and the third one is the supporting land system for sharing digital cadastral data must be straightened. And here I want to highlight the first one. Although the state-owned land belong to the state, actually the land are managed and planned by the local government. Some governments sell the state reserved land use rights to the individuals and organizations in order to increase the financial income. However, it has threatened the development of the national land policy. For the collection on the land, um, here are five questions issues should be considered. The first one is lacking of enough financial support for cadastral management development department at local level. The second one is technique and staff capability are relatively poor, backward. The third one is lacking the constraint mechanisms for non-agricultural of farmland. The fourth is non-farming land, and the last one is land expropriation compensation. And actually, in China, with more and more rural residents are recruited as the cheap labor for urban construction, their farmland are wasted. Many rural lands leave lived unused with no people farming and living. It is really a serious waste of the resources. However, along with the urbanization process, many rural-owned lands, the collection-owned land, are expropriated by the government. However, the land expropriation compensation standards are uncertain and not accepted by the original rural users. Okay, for all the issues we have talked about, I think the first and the most important step for the land administration system advancement is to form an integrated system of residency and land use. The rural-urban integration requires reform of both the residency system and the land tenure system. Because the hukou system we have talked about is tied to the series of government policies such as land, health care, education, so the reform needs to be both incremental and encompassing. The crucial reform in the in the residency system requires to abolish the hukou system. Besides, there are some suggestions for the land administration system employment, like strong the land monitoring, strong the law enforcement, and for the primary level land administration development, the government should give more financial and technical support. After all, they are the best cadastral information provider. Anyway, China, as the third largest country in the world in terms of area and largest in terms of population, has a very complex cadastral condition. Although China has formed a pretty good land administration system according to the national condition, in a short time, we can't deny that many issues, no matter legal issues or management issues, exist in it. And these issues has caused a lot of land conflict, as we mentioned above. Although some urban residents complain that the state pay more attention to protect the rural residents, only the residents the rural residents has the collection land use rights. However, with the development of the economy, more and more rural residents move to the urban area and buy house, which has caused the house price soaring in city. For the urban residents, they don't have the rights to use the collection land and buy the house in rural area. So they think that their complaint is unfair, and it's a very typical questions in China. So some people said maybe the socialist land policy isn't a good one or isn't suited for China. But for me, I think as a socialist country, the public ownership is the best guidelines for the country. Land is one of the most important resources which could deeply impact the national development, should be planned and managed. Only the government and law has the adequate power to control, plan, and improve it. What we need to do now is to find a good way to improve the current land administration system, resolve land issue, and advance industrial techniques. Okay, I will finish my presentation and thank you for listening. Here is Xiaoli. Bye.